Hey guys, so Bree and I are out here in South Texas. We're about to try and show you how to catch crawdads using your bare hands down here in the creek. Now I do have a few traps. We'll go ahead and set those out. Those are plan B. But the idea is that here after a while, one way or another, we'll have a campfire going, show you how to cook crawdads over open flame, South Texas style. Let's go ahead and get these traps baited up, set out so they have enough time to catch something. We're using dried dog food. We always use dried dog food. Cheap stuff works pretty well. Handful and a half. That's all it takes.
Boom! Check it out. One-armed.
Nice. Check this guy out. Red swamp crawdad. Claws are almost big enough to eat. There's lots of meat in that tail though. Now most of the crawdads that I'm catching out here are going to be found underneath these big flat rocks. Now later on in the season, summer, especially if the water level starts to drop, you'll see burrows with big mud chimneys all up and down the banks, and we can actually excavate those, but that's going to happen here in about a month or so. But these big flat rocks, you want to check all the way around them, probe them with your fingers. Kind of have to get over the idea of putting your hands places where you can't really see what you're touching. As far as crawdads being able to grab onto you, as long as your fingers are moving, you're not going to have too much of an issue. Now once you've probed around it, you haven't really found anything. The next step is to kind of lift. And as you lift, you take your hands and you run them underneath. And before those crawdads get out, before they have a chance to get out, you got him. That's darn decent. You grab a hold of them. And this is going to take a bit of practice. The first few that you touch, they'll start flickering backwards, and your natural response for your hands is just going to be to pull it away. Once that happens 2 or 3 times, and you've lost a few, you'll kind of get over that, and you'll be able to grab them. Check this guy out. Massive claws. It's actually got some meat in there. It's pretty awesome for early spring. It's going to be a good year.
Got him.
What do you got?
Another crawdad.
Shh. Check this out.
Is it a clam?
Yeah, Asian clams.
Nice.
Is your crawdad a keeper?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Is your clam a keeper?
No, it's going back. They're not on the menu. I'm finding a bed of them over here though. Good healthy water.
So these are the clams we're finding. They're actually invasive. If you pull up a catfish from the river and look at its stomach, it'll be full of these.
Got him. See that?
What'd you get?
Another crawdad. Come on, come on. He was wedged back there.
I got a keeper.
Slowly catching up.
Yep. Huck, check it out.
We'll see.
You gonna come down here and look at it?
Now I know it looks like we're making a muddy mess down here in the creek, murking up the water pretty bad, but this happens every other week. Whenever it rains, we have our eyes on the creek, flushes a lot of stuff out, makes it real cloudy for a few days. It's pretty normal. One thing we like to do as we come through here is anywhere we find a flat rock, we've got quite a few of them in this creek, we try and set them up in such a way so that they become habitat later on. So you can actually manipulate this so that more crawdads have a place to live, or any creature for that matter, so that if you have to come back and get crawfish later, you know where to find them. And even if you don't, you're helping these guys out a little bit. At least until the creek rises up again enough to knock them over. Got you. Another good sized one. Check it out.
Good catch.
Heck yeah. Woo. Got another one. Keeper.
Is it big?
Yep. Well, he's decent. He'll work. We need crawfish, not sticks. Crawfish. Huck. Crawfish, not sticks. Okay? This is a stick. If only you liked crawdads as much as you like sticks. Okay. Check it out.
So tiny.
Don't drop him.
Oh my god.
No, that's... If you're surviving, that's
It's bite size.
Yeah.
We were thinking of the same thing. We caught enough large crawdads that we don't really need these little guys. So we're gonna go ahead and let them go.
Check out today's catch. Some good looking crawdads. Not bad, huh? Well, I think we have enough crawdads to make a meal out of. Not a very big meal. All we got left is for you to make a fire, and for me to find something to cook them with.
Sounds good.
Let's go. Home sweet home. Gonna go find something we can cook these crawdads with. You'll get the fire started.
All right, sounds good.
Ought to work. It's yucca, blossomed out a few weeks ago, and now it is full of pods. And normally I'd be using cane or bamboo analog to cook these guys with, but the cane's all dead and what's not dead is just barely shooting out of the ground. So we're going to go ahead and use the yucca spears to put our crawdads over the fire this time. Should work. Let's go ahead and gather these up. Go see how Bree's doing with that fire. Hey Huck, fire looks good. You about ready to get these crawdads prepped and ready for cooking?
Yep, let's do it.
Good. Now we've gone ahead and dispatched these crawdads off of camera, but there's one more step that we want to go ahead and do before we put them on the fire, and that is taking out the anal passage back here, and that's going to be the digestive tract. Now to do that, you feel back here on the tail, there's going to be several little fins back here. You're going for the large middle one. So go ahead and pinch that between the thumb and one of your fingers. Grasp that firmly. Click one way, side. Click the other side. You're going to be releasing that just a little bit, so you should feel the 2 clicks. And then, with a little bit of wiggling, you're going to pull back on it. Okay? Sometimes it'll let loose. And as you do so, it's going to pull out that tube. That's what you want to get out of the way, because what we're going after is the meat of the tail, and that cleans it up and also makes it very easy for us to put over the fire using the method that we're going to use today. So, you do the rest of them, Bree?
Sure. Like this?
You got it. Go ahead and finish up the rest of them, and I'll start putting these guys over the fire. Now for this cooking method, we're going to go ahead and use the sharpened point of a Spanish dagger yucca, and we're going to be pushing that up and through the new hole that we've made when we pulled out the digestive tract. And we'll push that up through the meat of the tail, and this will allow us to suspend that over the fire to cook it. Just like that. Let's go ahead and put this guy over the fire. Get it to start cooking. Now as these cook, they're going to change color, and that shell's going to get real red. This is the red swamp crawfish. Now once that happens, we'll go ahead and flip him over, make sure he's cooked thoroughly on both sides, and it's time to eat.
They're ready to turn.
Check out that bright red color. This one's definitely done. Looks pretty.
Looks like a few of these are ready, so we're gonna start taking them off. And it's time to eat.
Awesome. Well, our taste tester's here. It's been a long day, but it's time to go ahead and try out what we've cooked up. So this is a little bit different from your crawfish boils. We are going after the meat in the tail, and with the larger clawed ones, we're going to go ahead and try and get some meat out of that as well. But you can't do it Louisiana Cajun style, where you actually suck the inside of the body out, because when you add flame without all the water, it gets dried out a little bit. So what we're going to do, go ahead, take that tail, crack it, pull back on it, okay, and you have all that meat inside the tail. try to describe what this smells like. It's kind of like lobster.
Yeah.
Makes it taste completely different. So flame broiled lobster. If you've done crawfish boils and you think you know what crawfish tastes like, this is completely different. It makes it taste like a different meat altogether, which is pretty awesome. But I don't know, if you get a lot of crawdads, which we have a few here, it's so much easier just to go ahead and boil them. Absolutely. So you want to go ahead and pull all of the shell off. Sometimes with the flame, it's going to get kind of crunchy.
That's pretty
the
good.
Chitin. You already eaten?
Mm-hmm.
Like it?
I'm hungry.
What about the dog? Is it Huck approved?
Okay.
Okay.
It's not Huck approved.
No. He needs some garlic and butter maybe?
Maybe a little bit more bacon.
Cocktail sauce. No. He's all about that champagne lifestyle though. So, a lot of tail in there. Let's see about some of these claws. Now this is the red swamp crawfish, and they don't have the largest claws, but they get up to be a pretty decent size. This is actually March still, and so we're at the beginning of the season. These guys will get much larger, and there's a lot of babies out there in the creek. So
there's no meat in my claws.
it's in there. You have to have something to pinch with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to work for it.
A little bit.
Depends on how much you want it. Now, sun's starting to go down. We'll go ahead and check the traps, I guess, tomorrow morning. They can stay on overnight, and they usually catch quite a bit more overnight. And we'll see. We'll figure that one out. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. We enjoyed making it out here. Everything's turning green. It's going to be an amazing year, hopefully, for crawfish trapping. And we'll have some more videos, actually. I think Bree and I will take the seine out and see what's in the creek definitively. Because a seine, where you're actually in the creek with it, not a throw seine, a push seine is something altogether different. And this one right here, this furry one, he loves it when we go seining. So, guys, stay tuned. Tell us what you think about this. Like, subscribe, share the heck out of this video. And as always, well, until next time.
Bye, guys.
What?
You want the crawfish that bad?
Let's go ahead and show you this meat up close so you have a better idea of what we're working with. So pull the tail off. It just falls out there. Check that out. Okay. Good stuff. Sure you don't want this, Huck? Okay. You're missing out, bud. It's mine. Ah, that's good. Well, guys, we meant to come out here the next morning to check these traps, but it's actually been 3 days. If you see all the mud, all the nasty stuff all the way across here, the San Antonio River rose 37 feet, and it backed all the way up this creek and covered a lot of this over with water, so we couldn't get down here. So this is the reveal. You can go ahead and pull this thing up and see what it's caught over the course of 3 days, because even the rope was underwater up until just a moment ago. Well, yesterday evening. That's a pretty good turnout. About a quarter full. Let's check them out. Quite a few crawdads. Not the largest ones, but it's still pretty early in the season. These guys eat and eat. They've got plenty of food out here in the creek. Not too many fish. Well, we'll see. The river probably dropped off a few big fish in some of these pools, so we'll see what the season brings. But these guys are going to get re-released, and we'll go ahead. Probably see quite a few of them later on next season. So they got a meal. There you go. And they got a little bit of freedom. Now, some folks have probably seen me using these traps in some of the other videos, and they've been commented on. Now, this is an extender made by G's. Now, most people have seen the G's traps, the bottom and the top pieces right here, put together, but few folks have seen this middle section, and that's what we're using out here. It increases the volume, especially as the season gets going, and it makes it where we can catch a heck of a lot more. Now, the difference here, and this is pretty awesome, is that most of the extenders that you see out in the market are going to be 15 inches. So over twice this size, and they're called eel pots. Now in Texas and several other states, they've actually got to the point where these minnow and crawdad traps have to be under a certain length. So 24 inches long is the max length for a crawdad trap here in Texas now. A normal G's trap, both ends put together, are 18 inches. So the guys that make the G's trap, I went ahead and called them up. They made some of these special for me. These are 6-inch extensions. And if you've done a little bit of math, 18 inches plus 6, 24. This is a legal trap. So a lot of folks are wondering, can I buy this? Can I use this? Is this legal in Texas? Absolutely, guys. So if you got your fishing license, if you're in the right kind of waters, if you got your tags put in there with all the information, you're doing this thing right. So guys, we'll be using traps like this later on in the season. I'll show you what it's really capable of whenever all the crawdads are moving and everything warms up. But hope you like it. Ask me some questions, because G's got some cool stuff coming out. Not only that, but when everything's getting cheaper, they actually increased and reinforced their wires. So you're using a heavier gauge wire mesh, which I really appreciate, especially when big gars come up and start crunching on my traps. So makes them last a little bit longer.
Bye, crawdads. We caught enough large crawdads that we don't really need these little guys, so we're gonna go ahead and let them go.